Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 class guide with the brand new characters introduced in the 1.1 update. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're covering the baby, which is the character that I've seen the most people struggling with. Many people are saying this is the character that's given them the most trouble of the 4 new characters that were introduced. At first glance, this seems unlikely. It seems like it's going to be a really easy character because of the massive bonuses that it gets. Plus 10 harvesting and minus 20% item price are huge economic bonuses. But the character has correspondingly brutal penalties that give it one of the hardest early games of any character in the entire game. You only start with 1 weapon slot, which means that we can't effectively roll for weapons in the early shops. Normally you roll to get as many weapons as you can to get your character off to a good start, but this character is locked to only a couple weapons, so we're not going to be able to do that. We also level up much slower. We need 2.5 times as much XP to level up as a normal character, and when we level, instead of getting a stat bonus, we gain a weapon slot, up to a maximum of 24. This means that this character is playing without a lot of free stats that most characters will get throughout the game. So we're going to have to make up for that by buying stat items with our item discount and extra harvesting. We do get the 1 maximum HP that you get for leveling up, but otherwise we have a lot lower in the way of stats. However, we do get to have way more weapons than other characters. So, to use that bonus to the fullest extent, we're going to pick the weapon that benefits from having a lot of itself, the stick. Stick is, I think, the natural choice for this character, because you can have 24 of them, and that's a huge amount of damage, so let's get into it. This character has a pretty constrained early shop pattern. We actually need to do some very specific things in our first couple shops to make the character function. Also, it's worth noting that it's not totally impossible, but extremely difficult to level up in the first wave. It's technically possible if you get a really good pattern of enemy spawns and get a tree. We were actually very close this time, and that's why you saw me taking all of that early damage, to try to absolutely maximize the number of enemies we killed. You don't need to do that, but of course the more money we get, the better. In our very first shop, what we're going to do with this character is we're going to buy the first stick we see, and then we're going to roll, and then we're going to lock a second stick, and we're going to roll for good economy items. The goal on this character is to get our economy spinning really early, and since of course we can't buy weapons, we need to buy economy items while they're still very cheap early on. And we also want to lock a stick to make sure that we can buy it as soon as we have a weapon slot for it. Here, I'm going to pass on the head injury. Although percent damage is kind of nice for this character, we're really looking for the most important items that we can find. Things like Scar is one of them, Coupon, Fertilizer, Bag, etc. Just the really powerful economy items. Scar is especially notable for this character because it helped us unlock more weapon slots faster, so getting these early is going to be very important for our run. We only have 1 weapon going into level 2, which is pretty difficult, so you do have to play this one a little bit carefully. Make sure to break this tree. There we go. And group all the enemies on top of each other. I'm manually targeting... Oops, I messed up my manual targeting on the tree, so I didn't break it, because I just misclicked behind the tree. Obviously, you should do that correctly. We'd have more materials and possibly a box there. I'll take the weapon slot, of course, because that's the only option we have when we level up, and then we'll buy a stick, and then we're going to roll for more economy items and more sticks. When I see the lemonade, that's a good healing item for this character, so we will buy it, and then we're going to lock a stick and go ahead and buy this cake. Max HP is somewhat hard to come by on the baby because you often, on most characters, will get that through level up bonuses, so this character needs to prioritize that. That's part of why stick is such a good item for this character. Also, notice that I didn't level up my stick. That's because the goal is to buy only as many as fill our weapon slots. Stick will scale just fine just by having a lot of them, so spending money upgrading it actually makes it harder to fill out our weapon slots, and is unnecessary, because our damage will still be plenty high for this character. Grabbing a weapon slot here, and then we'll take another stick, and then I could buy the injection for more percentage damage. I think I'm going to pass on that. Our damage is fine right now. I'm going to roll and lock another stick, and we'll buy another scar to find that early. You want on this character is tagged with XP gain, so you're more likely to find XP gain items in the shop. And my rule of thumb is you want to buy until you have about plus 100% XP gain to make sure that your weapon slots are unlocking at a decent pace. I'm going to roll past all of these. We don't really need the alien tongue or the goat skull. Base melee damage isn't that important for this character, and I really want to find items that boost our early economy. So we're going to pick up the Peaceful Bee here, save our money, and go to the next wave. You typically want to save your reroll money on this character to find your weapons if you have it. Especially in the early shops where you're guaranteed to see a weapon, it's really important that we have one locked so that when we unlock another weapon slot, we can fill it immediately. Otherwise, our damage and our wave clear are just simply not going to keep up. These early waves are some of the most challenging, I think, of any character because you have to be very, very careful with how you spend your money and what you spend it on. We buy 2 weapon slots here, so that's perfect. Because we found these scars, we unlocked 2, which is awesome. Take the stick here, and then I'm going to roll past all of this stuff, and we'll buy another stick. And so you can see we are still getting some leveled weapons, but we're not prioritizing leveling our weapons. The lure, of course, is great to buy and gives us some regeneration, and I will buy the mushroom as well. This character is going to need defensive stats, so I'm going to prioritize buying both regeneration and a little bit of lifesteal. I like to have both on this character. Even though we have a lot of weapons, we're probably not buying a ton of attack speed, so lifesteal is not as good as it sounds like from having 24 weapons, so just buying both to make sure we have good healing is the way that I like to play it. We're also going to reroll once here, even with that item locked. Nothing, because we might find something good, and I wanted to see if we could find a stick to lock for the next shop. I missed on that, unfortunately, and I decided it wasn't worth it to reroll again, though possibly we should have, because we have 5 already, but you definitely could there, and I don't think it would necessarily be a mistake. Definitely making sure to break all of these loot aliens for their crates. Maximize our income as much as we can. Got another level up. This character requires a ton of discipline in how you approach the shops, so it can be really difficult to play, I think. Recycle that. I will take the baby gecko. Range is going to be an issue for us, because we're going to decrease our range a lot by buying scars, almost certainly, so it can be useful to buy a little bit of range, and gecko, newly buffed gecko, is actually pretty nice. I'll buy the mushroom here, and defective steroids. This repairs our melee damage, which I did decrease, but mostly it's for the max HP here. I will definitely buy the scar. Not buying any weapons that aren't sticks, and then I'm going to buy one more scar. Have gotten a little bit, I think we're running a little over curve finding these, but since this character is tagged with XP gain, you are more likely to find them. Do I want a bait for some damage and more income? I think that's fine. And then, because we're on wave 5, so we're guaranteed to see a weapon in the shop, I'm going to roll. I didn't find another stick, so we're behind on sticks. And this is where the character can get really challenging. If you don't roll into the right weapons in later shops, you can start having to reroll a lot in order to make sure that you're keeping up with your weapon set. Which is why it's so important to have them locked in early shops, and maybe on shop 4 I should have rolled again to find one. As you can see, our damage is still keeping up fine. The bait gave us a little bit of percentage damage, which you don't need to prioritize, but does increase your per hit damage a lot because your weapon's base damage is going to be so high. So a little percentage damage goes a long way on this character. And bait also gave us a little extra money just by killing the lampreys. Take another weapon slot and another one, and then we will buy these 2 items. Then I will roll. I'm really hoping to find more sticks here. I'll take the helmet because we have no armor currently. And roll again. Nothing here that we want, so we're rolling. Okay, there's another stick. Perfect. And then I will roll again, still looking for more sticks, but here I will take the metal plate. That's starting to get our defensive stats online, so we're in okay shape. I would obviously like to have more sticks, but we did find 5 scars, so if you hadn't found that many scars, you probably would be capped at 6 or 7 sticks anyways. So we're not significantly behind where you'd expect to be in most runs on this character. Because we have pretty solid damage, we're going to let the eggs hatch, making sure to kill the healers, because the big slasher guys were newly buffed in patch 1.1. They now drop 4 materials instead of 3, so it's very much worth letting them hatch for the extra money, especially on melee characters which don't lose clear speed, because since you can attack them and other enemies at the same time. So we can still be clearing these other enemies while getting extra money from the big slashers. As you can see, we're starting to fall a little behind where you'd want to be in terms of income, because we didn't find any early harvesting items, and this character can't find harvesting from levels. So a lot of characters would be ahead of where we are just by having been able to build more harvesting. Very happy to buy another stick, and we'll buy the broken mouth and the tree, and then roll. At this point, we have enough scars that I'm just going to pass on buying more. With plus 100% XP gain, we have enough weapon slots and enough levels that we're going to always have one open whenever we find another stick, so we don't need to spend more money on more scars, in my opinion. I will buy the butterfly, though, to make sure that we're continuing to heal. We'll buy the Peaceful Bee and the Lumberjack shirt, mostly to pull a unique out of the pool. I will also buy the missile, because a little bit of percent damage, again, like I said, goes a long way with the high base damage of these weapons. So even though we lose some attack speed, we have lots of weapons, so attack speed is less important for us. And the missile will make it easier for us to kill elites when we get there. Elites are going to be the big bane of this character, elites and wave 14, as with many characters. So you really want to make sure that you have either a ton of damage or high defensive stats by the time you get to your first elite. For this version of the build, we probably will be able to get enough damage. I'm going to see to kill the elite relatively comfortably. We'll see how our next couple levels go, especially wave 9, where we get a lot of income, so we should be able to upgrade our character a lot. Next wave. More movement speed would also be really nice, because I did decrease it, so we're running a little behind on that. But the most important thing is to make sure that we're gaining levels, or gaining weapons every time we gain a new weapon slot. Plus 50% enemy damage during wave 9, but we can gain some extra weapon slots. I think it's worth taking the Peacock for 18 here. Obviously, we've got more weapon slots than we need right now, but buying the Peacock does mean that on Wave 9, where we're getting a lot of XP, we will be able to make sure that we're consistently gaining more weapons. Buy some items and roll here. If I take the Peaceful Bee, I do need to find more melee damage a little bit, because I am decreasing my flat damage, but I think it is still worth it. We're starting to build some dodge, and our harvesting continues to increase. Here I will buy the Dangerous Bunny, and I will lock the gambling token, but not buy the Scar. We have plenty of XP gain and don't need to buy more. Muscly Dude will give us defensive stats, and Mushroom will give us regeneration. Blood Donation, I don't know if we're going to have the healing to support the blood donation, so that could be really dangerous. But I'm looking at my elite waves and noticing that we have a horde on wave 12 instead of an elite earlier on. So I think we can afford to buy the blood donation, and that will spike our economy a little bit better, and make this character a little bit easier to play as we continue to level up. I do have to bear in mind that I bought the Peacock this wave, so we are going to take a ton of extra damage if I take damage. Number one item we're looking for at this point is probably Fairy, because that would solve a lot of our defensive issues. Things like anything that increases our dodge would be really nice as well. Good armor items would be very valuable for us. An attack speed item, just one solid attack speed item, would be pretty good. Although we have a lot of weapons, one issue that you run into on this character is that they all attack at once. So you can sometimes prefer to have them reset faster. And one thing that's interesting about this character as we get more weapons, I'll start showing you how it works as we go, is that sometimes it can be correct to walk like through enemies so that your weapons, the weapons on the other side of your actual character model can still attack. Lots of weapon slots that wave, but not that much money. Again, because our wave clear is suffering a little just from our slow movement speed and our low harvesting, but we should be able to make up for that. Let's buy all of these and then roll, looking for more healing and to overcome the blood donation, and we did find a tentacle. Crit chance is not terrible for sticks. They did get a nerf to their critical hit damage, but with tentacle, it will give us a lot of healing, and since the base damage is so high, 1.5x damage on a critical hit is still a lot. So we're going to buy the tractor, buy the tentacle, I'm going to lock the sunglasses, and then do a reroll, and we can buy another stick finally. Roll again, looking for more of those. Didn't find any, but I will lock these two items as well. So I don't have enough regeneration to make up for the incoming damage from the blood donation. So I do need to be a little bit careful, but we've got good consumable healing, and we have a little bit of lifesteal and the tentacle. So I'm not worried about the blood donation itself killing us. It just makes it harder to heal if I take a lot of hits from other things, so I do need to be careful of that. We did get a ton of harvesting this wave, so our economy has really taken off, and that should let us roll for more sticks more aggressively as well, which will let our damage spike also. If we had had an elite on wave 11, I probably would have skipped the blood donation and just gone for more defensive stats. You can see here, I am starting to have a little bit of a harder time just because the blood donation is turning off our healing, so we're having a harder time maintaining our health, but not so hard a time that it was not worth it to buy. Although I did put myself in a really bad spot there to try to grab the loot alien. It was fine, because the wave was almost over, but I did put myself in a little bit of danger there. Happy to offset my speed penalty and get a lot of stats that we want. Plastic explosive doesn't matter, and we'll take our extra weapon slots. Buying these 3 items, and then rolling. Plant I am going to buy, even though it decreases my lifesteal, which we do want, but it's an efficient way to buy regeneration, offset the blood donation damage. Again, not buying more scars, we have enough XP gain already. As you can see, we have way more weapon slots than we know what to do with. You could, at this point, start buying other weapons. Like, we could buy, for example, spiky shields to get the synergy tag from spiky shields and get more defensive stats that way. I have found that it's better to simply not do that and just instead buy only sticks, because if we end up polluting our shop, it makes it much harder to gain the damage that we need from the sticks. Definitely taking the extra stomach here, even though it was nerfed and we have a blood donation, this is still going to be a lot of max HP, which of course is great. Let's go to the next wave. Pretty lucky to roll a tier 4 item there with negative luck also. Oh, this character also should not buy luck in general, because one of the main things that luck gives you is better quality stat gain when you level up, which this character doesn't get. So buying luck doesn't really matter. You also actually want mostly level 1 items because this character just wants to buy a lot of different items and a lot of different defensive stats. So you don't really need to find higher level items in the shop. And luck doesn't do anything for your levels, so it's a safe stat to just avoid on this character. Not advice I normally give, and part of why I think this character is so difficult is it requires you to make a lot of weird plays like that, where you just don't do something that every character in the game does. The loot alien changed directions at the last minute, and I didn't have the move speed to catch up to it. I'll take the banner here. Fixing my attack speed feels pretty good. Blindfold, of course, is going to be great, getting our dodge chance up, and we'll take the weapon slot here. We're going to buy the lifesteal, and then again, I'm not really going to buy luck. The consumable healing would be nice. additional chance to drop consumables and crates, of course, would be nice, but since it doesn't do anything else for this build, I think you are better off avoiding it. Extra Stomach gave me no stats that wave because I took a lot of damage and don't have enough healing yet. Take the Gecko and the Broken Mouth, and then roll again. Still looking for more sticks, which we are really struggling to find. This character will often end with money in the bank, so Piggy Bank can be useful if you find it early, because your items are cheap, so the expense on this character becomes just re-rolling a lot, which can make Piggy Bank more attractive. However, it's wave 11 already, so we're going to pass on it here. Definitely struggling to find more sticks, which is, of course, an issue that this character can run into, but we've got enough that our damage is still reasonable, and because this is a horde wave, we didn't need to roll aggressively for defensive or offensive stats and could focus on our economy a little more. For if this was an elite wave, of course, we'd have had to focus more on getting our defensive stats online. In particular, for an elite wave, we'd want more move speed so we could evade it better. Notice that my 7% lifesteal is still giving us decent lifesteal, and the healing from the tentacles. Just because we have so many weapons. And made decent money that wave. Not the most amazing money, but still pretty good. We only have 2 armor. Glass Cannon would be pretty nice, because my damage actually could use a boost, just because I've been struggling to find sticks. But going to negative armor is pretty painful. I think we will risk it on the Glass Cannon, but that does mean I need to find armor as soon as I can. I will buy both of these just to keep our defenses online, and I will buy all 3 of these as well. Losing crit chance, of course, does hurt the tentacle, but the compass giving us movement speed is pretty critical for where we're at right now. And then we will buy more crit chance and more lifesteal. Now suddenly this character is a lot better at healing. Take the coupon as well and roll again. Still no sticks. Rolling again. There we go. Finally got to upgrade to an 11th stick. We're running well below par on sticks here. The Extra Stomach, uniquely underperforming because I've been at pretty low health this whole time. I will take the Poisonous Tonic, though, and then I will need to find more armor from items just by rolling for them. Again, armor is something that you can struggle to find on this character because a lot of characters get it primarily through stat gain from level ups, but we don't have access to that. After you hit level 24 on this character and unlock all of your weapon slots, I believe you do start getting normal stats again. So you can take this character into Endless, and it's pretty busted in Endless mode, because it's just a character without any penalties and 24 weapons once you go on into Endless mode. I would assume. I haven't tried it yet myself. Breaking this tree, coming back here to collect more materials. We're gonna, when it's free, I think I will take the Alien Tongue. We'll take the weapon slot here. I'll take the Poisonous Tonic. Reroll. Still looking for armor or sticks. I will roll again. I will now buy another tentacle. Roll again. We will take more dodge, of course, because getting to dodge cap is one way this character could be up to the defensive standards that we need it to be. Finally got another stick. I don't think we can afford a second blood donation at this point because we just don't have the regeneration to support it at the moment, so I'm reluctantly going to pass on a second blood donation. 2 damage per second is a lot more dangerous than 1 damage per second. I will take the Cyclops Worm because our damage, again, since this particular version of the character, we found fewer sticks than average. Our damage is a little bit lower, so I'm having to buy damage items in order to make sure that that is still keeping up. Missed a lot on our rerolls there, so let's go to the next wave. The trick with this character is to, as I said, be very disciplined about what you buy in the shop. Make sure it's actually helping your character, and then roll for weapons a lot. Stick makes it easy because our damage will become ridiculous. Once we get like 5 or 6 more sticks, which hopefully we do pretty soon, you're going to see just how quickly our damage starts spiking to massive values, and we'll be able to just obliterate the elites and bosses. Taking a lot of hits here, and remember I have negative armor, so I do need to be very careful about what hits I tank. But because I didn't buy the second blood donation, our healing is keeping up reasonably well, because our regeneration, our 10 regeneration, is offsetting the blood donation damage, and then our tentacles, consumable healing, and everything else is, and lifesteal is keeping me at full health. 8 regeneration and 80 range on the shackles, but we cap our move speed at 6. I think I will take this. Healing has been a bit of a struggle for this character, so we're just going to pick that up. Decomposing Flesh, plus 1% lifesteal when you level up, minus 1 max HP when you level up. This is a new item. It's the unlockable item from the Vampire. I think this is worth picking up for this character. We will probably gain like 4% lifesteal for minus 4 max HP, and we would take that trade. So I think that's worth grabbing. Happy to get another stick and then roll. One thing I could do here is buy a flamethrower. That would give me a ton of healing from the flamethrower lifesteal. But because level 2 flamethrower has had a huge nerf to its range and the movement speed of the projectiles, level 2 flamethrower I don't think is worth picking up just for lifesteal anymore after the changes in the patch. If this was a level 3 or 4 flamethrower, I'd much more strongly consider it. Blood Leech I think will be worth buying here, and then I'm going to roll. Another stick is awesome. We do have a Lumberjack shirt, so Pocket Factory is a little interesting. We also have 9 engineering somehow just through... Oh, I guess because the shackles gave us a bunch of engineering. So that could actually help with wave clear a little bit. I think it's probably too just not like important enough to buy the Pocket Factory here, so I think I'm going to roll past it. We actually don't need max HP from the spicy sauce either, so I'm going to roll for things that give us more value immediately. In this case, the tractor and the helmet are what I want, because tractor's still early enough, and remember we have the item price decrease, so these economy items are way more valuable than for most characters. The tractor will pay for itself pretty quickly. Armor is a real pain point for us right now, and then of course we will definitely buy another stick. If we find like a warrior helmet, then we'll be in great shape. Just anything that boosts our armor. The newly buffed Sift's Relic, which gives you a bunch of armor, would be awesome. Really just anything along those lines would be great. But we have now, I think, passed we're over the hump on the character. Our regeneration is solid, our healing is good. The only thing that we are struggling with right now is armor, but with high maximum HP, decent dodge chance, and the very high damage that comes with just having 15 sticks, we should be able to clear through these waves very, very quickly. And this is really the play pattern for the baby. You're going to struggle for many waves because you have fewer free stats and you're capped at low numbers of weapons, but then when it comes online, it really comes online. Yep, we'll take more regeneration, we'll take this, I'll buy a stick, I will buy an insanity and roll. Another decomposing flesh, so we would then be losing 2 maximum HP a wave, but we're getting like 3 or 4 at least, and 90 max HP is fine. So I think this giving us 4 lifesteal, which will be 16, 17, 18, 19 for minus 4 max HP, is worth it. Cute Monkey is definitely worth it. Ugly Tooth can help as well to keep the elites in place and make us not die to them. Take the baby gecko here and then roll. Alien Magic does give us regeneration. I think I do want that. Mostly for the regeneration, not the max HP, but we'll take both. Losing 4% attack speed for 10% damage is pretty painful here, but I think worth it. And then there we go. There's our warrior helmet, which I was really hoping to see, or anything along those lines. I do need to boost my movement speed, of course, now, because we're now at -4, but having our armor back in the positive solves the one real issue that this character still had. Now just to build a little more armor, find more sticks, and max out our dodge, and then we'll be in great shape to fight the bosses. I think for the baby, there's like really 2 key insights, or 3, I guess. The first one is use stick, which is kind of obvious, but still definitely worth mentioning. The second one is don't ever upgrade your weapons. Maybe in the very first shop, but otherwise don't upgrade your weapons, just max them out. And the third is stop buying XP gain after you've gotten enough that you have as many weapon slots as you can fill easily. The way to fall behind on this character is to spend a lot on having like a bunch of empty weapon slots or have to fill them with weapons that don't actually help you. So you really want to avoid that. The newly buffed Wisdom, so this used to give -20% damage and now gives -5%, or -15%, so it starts paying off much sooner. I think is actually interesting enough that I'm going to pick it up here. I've been avoiding this item basically the entire time I've played Brotato, because you want high damage at the start of the waves to burst down elites. But now that it's been buffed and comes online a little faster, it's much more interesting to me. So I'm giving this a try. I don't know where I'll land on the Wisdom, whether this ends up being an item that I still just avoid, or whether it ends up being one I want to buy much more regularly, but I'm experimenting with it to see how it feels to have it in actual practice. Roll here, and roll again. Do we want 5 max HP? I guess some melee damage actually wouldn't hurt, because it does increase our damage output a little, though again, our base damage is so high that you can see it's not a huge boost to our DPS, but a little bit of max HP and damage never hurt anybody. Take another Dangerous Bunny and a Butterfly, do our free reroll. Obliterator is one way we could focus down the elites better, but I think we're fine. I'm just going to roll here. Take a cute monkey. These expensive rerolls are why I said that Piggy Bank is actually not bad for this character, especially if you get it early, both because it costs less to buy, and also because we're pretty incentivized not to reroll when it costs 48, and the Piggy Bank would make that pay off. I will reroll once, and it looks like we missed, unfortunately. I don't really need the black belt or anything, so we're just saving 200. If we had the Piggy Bank, that would just be worth 40 materials. When we found it in this game, it wasn't worth picking up. It wouldn't have paid off, but if we had found it a little bit earlier, then Piggy Bank would have been a good purchase for this character, because of the pattern in how your shop works out. As you can see, even though we are a little behind on the number of sticks that we want to have, we still killed the elite very quickly and comfortably. Would have been even faster if I didn't have the Wisdom, but it's the Wisdom certainly didn't cost me that elite kill or anything, so it's still paying off reasonably well. What I'm going to keep an eye on for whether the Wisdom pays off or not is how long it takes to kill the bosses. If it takes longer than 30 seconds to kill the bosses, then the Wisdom will have been good. If it takes less than 30 seconds, the Wisdom will have been just hurting me. SG's couch, of course, we're recycling. We definitely do not want that. Taking our weapon slot here. The coupon will still have time to pay for itself. The fertilizer won't, so I'm going to reroll here. Take a poisonous tonic as well. We will take more dodge, and then I'm going to roll again. Still looking for more armor, of course. More regeneration, even at the cost of lifesteal, still worth it. Garden, actually, I should probably have bought the garden I saw earlier, because we have a lot of consumable heal, so Garden is actually pretty good for us. Now that it's wave 18 and 19 only, I'm not going to spend 39 on 2% lifesteal, I think. Actually, 39 on 2% lifesteal, when I put it that way, sounds not bad, so I think I will buy it. Then I'm going to keep rolling. Still haven't found any more sticks, but we will buy another clover, getting almost to dodge cap. Still need armor and more weapons, but you can see exactly how the build comes online. You could end up, I think we've got like 15 sticks right now. You could end up with a lot more than that if you were a little luckier rolling for weapons. But I wouldn't go crazy looking for weapons. Don't spend like all of your money rolling for weapons. 12 to 15 sticks is plenty to have high enough base damage to finish the game. So obviously buy them if you see them, because more damage is still good. But don't feel like you're in desperate need to search for them constantly. I think that of the 4 characters, this character is probably the most likely to see more significant changes during the beta. If it does, I will do an update video, of course. Currently, I think the game balance on this character feels pretty restrictive. You saw how careful we had to be with our early shops. And I think that especially for more casual players, this character would be more interesting if it didn't sort of lock you into doing very, very specific things with your early shops. Roll here. Yeah, we'll keep buying plant. Even newly nerfed plant is pretty powerful. We'll take the gentle alien. Pile of books is an item I like quite a lot. We don't have any structures that can crit, but if you have critical hit chance and structures, then Pile of Books is really interesting. We're gonna roll here. I'll take a gambling token to go to 58% dodge. Would really like to find some armor though. Whetstone, yeah, still worth it. Keep rolling. I'm not gonna buy a gambling token for only 2% dodge, and for 81 we're gonna save our materials. I think if I had bought the piggy bank, then in these last few waves, we'd have made about 200 off it. So actually, maybe even on wave 11, the piggy bank was worth it on this character, just because of the very restrictive spending patterns. Generally, piggy bank requires a pretty big upfront investment to pay off, so it's not an item that I suggest buying on most characters. But because this character gets it for cheaper and just sort of naturally has a lot of money in the bank at all times, piggy bank might be worth buying. Even, like I already said, it was more interesting, but it might be even more good for this character than I was initially considering. Yeah, when it's free, we'll take that. We'll take this. We'll take a stick. I'm actually going to take the nail. Our sticks will get even more base damage with our 9 engineering. It's not like a huge bonus, but it's kind of fun that the nail does something for us. Take the coffee here, and then, yeah, any armor is good armor, of course. And another stick. And we will roll, and another stick up to 20. We've got 24 weapon slots to fill, which we probably won't by the end of the run, but any closer that we get is better, of course. Metal detector would have been good to find earlier. Triangle of power we definitely don't want because we have a blood donation. Weird food I'll probably just pick up because it might help, and then we'll buy these items because again they might do anything, and we're running out of stuff that we can feasibly buy that might help. We'll buy the spicy sauce and then go into the final wave. So we're keeping an eye on whether this takes more than 30 seconds, because then if it does, the wisdom will have been good. If it doesn't, which it looks like it will not, then the wisdom just slowed us down. So wisdom, even with the buff, still not looking amazing for these boss waves, but definitely worth more testing. And as you can see, when you have this many sticks, the amount of damage that you do to the bosses, of course, is ridiculous. So this character will, once you get there, just start obliterating bosses very, very quickly. It's just getting there that is the challenge. Taking a look at our items, you can see we had a lot of items. Fairy is another really good one for this character. Obviously, these early coupons were very good. 5 early scars let us get all of the weapon slots that we needed, so we hit level 23, which is exactly what we wanted to do, right? We hit maximum weapon slots by the end of the run by buying XP items and stopping at exactly 100% XP gain plus the peacock. So I guess 125 XP gain with the peacock on wave 9 got us there pretty easily. If we'd finished with only 20 weapon slots, that would have been fine. So I think a good rule of thumb is just buy 100% XP gain. Tentacle gave us a lot of healing, extra stomach, 45 maximum HP, and hunting trophy paid off pretty well. 11 lifesteal from the decomposing flesh was really good for our healing. So overall, just a really solid way to play through the character. Saved a lot of money by buying early economy items, and the trick to this character is to just be extremely disciplined with your shop purchases in the early game. You can see all of our early sticks are level 1 because we never leveled them up, and we bought just really efficient items, efficient economy items for the first several waves to get the character snowball. Alright, my friends, hope that you've enjoyed this look at the baby, and if it's been giving you trouble, hopefully this helps you get there. I know many people are struggling with this one, so good luck to you. I do believe in you. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out, of course, with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do so. And you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato guides to the other new characters, and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.